£3,000. £3,000. We were paid so much, and you will sign for 1 year. Fine. But we can't sign you yet. Please wait. So I wait, and I wait. And then the door opens, and in comes a black-clad lady, a veil, the Countess, the mother. And she walks in, walks past the front of this dimly lit desk and room, walks round me once, walks round me twice, and walks out of the room. And Calatroni, who was the interpreter, turns around and says, "One moment." The Count goes out, and then he comes back and said, "Yes, the Countess had to review me to see whether she wanted me to ride for her son." And this is what the whole thing was about. It was a family concern, and she wanted to make certain that she thought I was right for their company.
Off they go in the German Motorcycle Grand Prix on the Nürburgring, and there's a strong British challenge in the 350cc event. It's the big race of the meeting, run over 7 laps of a circuit that demands the utmost skill. The result was a great British triumph. The first 6 places, in fact, the winner being John Surtees, number 50, who came in ahead of Hartnell and Chadwick. Fresh laurels for Surtees, now well ahead for the world title.
Apart from 1 year, he was always well ahead for MV. Italians of all ages took to the British loader, and for 3 years running, he was double world champion.
Another motorcycling event in the news was the Belgian Grand Prix at Francorchamps. The 500cc event, 33 Dominating the race from start to finish was number 4, John Surtees of Great Britain. Beating the record he himself set last year, he went on to win at an average speed of 119.
Few came closer to knowing what made Surtees tick than Mike Hailwood, who died so tragically when his racing days were over. He succeeded Surtees as the dominant figure in motorcycling, and then followed him into Formula One to become one of the Surtees team drivers.
Well, Mike was a good friend, not extremely close, but we had similar interests in the racing world and a similar approach to it, in that we gave everything we had, and certainly was the most genuine of the people who drove for me.
I bet Mike's laughing at us now. Probably looking down and saying, you know, will he never learn?
And the feelings that you had together are now quite clear, because his wife asked you to try out his old bikes.
Well, I think I asked her, actually. I do 1 or 2 articles for one of the classic bike magazines, and so these machines are becoming classics now, and so the 500 4-cylinder and such like, the Hondas, I'm doing some testing on. Well, they are rather rare and they are rather fragile after all this time, so perhaps she just thinks that I can at least put them together again if I break them, which I'll try not to.
Let's talk now about the TT races. The Isle of Man. Did winning there give you a particular satisfaction?
It was very special because initially I had been listed as a short circuit man, a man who scratched, as they use the term, around the short circuits, but wasn't suitable to do Grand Prix racing. But the styles were changing, and the type of riding you were doing on short circuits with tyre developments also was able to be carried out on the longer circuits. And I was able to get into a rhythm, which is very necessary on a circuit like the Isle of Man. It's vital, in fact. You have to have this rhythm of relationship with the machine and with the circuit. And I got into it, and I was rather pleased to prove many people wrong.
Perfect weather for the 6-lap senior TT, with the seeded riders starting in pairs at 10-second intervals. First away, number 1, Bob Brown and Bob Anderson. Hot favourite after wins in 1958 and 59, number 3, John Surtees on the NV4, rocketing away from Mike Hailwood. And then 2 more superstars, Derek Minter, number 5, and the great Bob McIntyre, both on Normans. Number 11, John Harkle, Surtees' NV teammate, is in top form, having just won Wednesday's junior TT. 23 miles out at Ramsey Hairpin, Surtees is already leading on the road, his MV sounding superb. And here's Derek Minter in a brilliant 3rd place on corrected time. But look at this, number 4, Mike Hailwood, and then John Harkle, who started 40 seconds later. Harkle's really flying on his MV. The veranda, and racing round the edge of Mount Snaefell, which gives the mountain course its name, Surtees leads in a class of his own at record-breaking speed.
On the second lap, yes, 21 minutes 46 seconds. Surtees on his second lap from Keppelgate to Keppelgate, 21 minutes 46 seconds. Unofficial.
Surtees rockets out of Cregnabar, nearly a minute ahead of Harkle, with a sensational new lap record of 104.1. Then it's Derek Minter with the first ever single-cylinder lap of the island at over 100 miles an hour. And right behind him, number 11, John Harkle, 3rd on the road but 2nd in the race. And there's Mike Hailwood, who, like Minter, has done a lap at over 100. But the man of the race is John Surtees. Just 13 miles to go as he sweeps through Parliament Square, Ramsey, on the last lap. This has been a masterly demonstration of John Surtees' complete domination of World Championship racing. He's averaged over 102 miles an hour. He's led from the moment he bump-started his MV. His record lap is breathtaking, and he's done it all with a smooth and effortless style that's a joy to watch. So, from the veranda to the bungalow, down the mountain to the 33rd milestone, and on to Cregnabar, for the 6th and last time, comes the master. On his way to win his 6th TT and his 3rd successive senior TT, as the knowledgeable crowd enthusiastically waves him on to the last few miles and to a magnificent victory. John Surtees wins an historic senior TT to create a record that's going to be very hard to beat.
Well done, son. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Do you know the average speed?
Well, they've just told me about 101 or something, isn't it?
102.
102?
Yeah. Is this your life's ambition now achieved?
Not really, I suppose. I don't set out with definite ambitions. I just try and do my best whatever I do.
The fact that during Surtees' best years many of the works teams had withdrawn from the sport was not, of course, his fault. But it has perhaps clouded the judgment of his achievement.
Well, I think by the time I was retiring, I still hadn't probably reached my absolute peak. But I'd achieved my main ambitions. I could still ride an MV and win, but also come out and sit on a Norton and win was vital to me, because the most important thing I have to do in life is not satisfy other people, but satisfy myself.
How do you view the way that British motorcycling has gone since your day?
I'm unhappy that, apart from Sheen having won the World Championship, that we've had no other British people come through. I think it's part of this story of where some people get things too easy. They become a champion of Brands Hatch or a champion of this, and they think they've arrived. Instead of setting their goals on the very highest award or prize, they become self-satisfied and content. And this is a sad thing, I think, about England as a whole. People are too easily satisfied.
3 times he's been world motorcycling champion. But when John Surtees took the wheel of a Cooper Austin at Goodwood, he was out for his first race on 4 wheels. A 10-lap scratch race for Formula Junior cars, and the 25-year-old Sportsman of the Year, number 24, was soon contesting the lead. He finished a very good second. That's nice going for anyone's first race. Perhaps one day we shall see the motorcycle ace going for the four-wheelers world title.
I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning of the car racing because I had no apprenticeship. I jumped straight in. I think my first race was a Formula Junior to get my license. My second race was, I think, a Formula 2 race, which I finished second. And probably about my third race was a Formula 1 race at Silverstone, the Grand Prix, where I also finished second. So I did jump in at the top.
You were involved with many cars during your career, but clearly Ferrari was where you had your success.
I suppose the frustrating thing with Ferrari, or with Ferrari, and most drivers who have been there, is that the company is in fact capable of doing so much more than it ever does. It's an incredible place to work, and the intrigue and politics are not the nicest part of it, but it's Italy, and I love Italy. And I must say I enjoyed working with the Italians and working with the Commendatore.
It's the 25th German Grand Prix, and the Nürburgring circuit drivers include Jim Clark and up-and-coming John Surtees. What a pity that Sterling Moss is out of the game for good. How he'd have loved to be driving again. Jim Clark already has a commanding lead in the World Championship race. All set now, and the 22 starters are away.
The only advantage Surtees felt that he brought from his experience on 2 wheels was a proven competitive spirit.
The race is 15 laps of this 14.25-mile circuit.
It didn't take him long to be the fastest. And once again, the Italians gave him the chance to be the best.
In his Ferrari, John Surtees, number 7, going like a bomb and eventually leading the 10 cars still in the race. Jim Clark's Lotus Climax is giving a bit of trouble, but he's holding on to second place. The end now, and the man flagged in first is John Surtees. The former motorcycle champion has won the fastest ever German Grand Prix at nearly 96 miles an hour. You'd have to train hard to stand the weight of flowers.
They allowed you an involvement in the engineering side. I mean, you weren't exactly slow to comment, I understand.
Well, all I can try and do, and all I tried to do in those days, I didn't try and design the car for them or anything else because I wasn't capable. But I tried to convey the message that the car gave me and what it was doing to the people, and we would, as a team effort, try and sort it out. Many people later on sort of said I tried to do too much and such like. But all I tried to do myself, and I've asked of my drivers, is just to try and be honest. Just to try and say, this is happening or that is happening. So you build up a character of a car, because it's only by building this character up that you get the utmost in performance from it. And that's what I tried to do with Ferrari.
In 1964, he succeeded. A year after his first Grand Prix win there, another victory in the German Grand Prix at Nürburgring launched Surtees' challenge for the championship. Jim Clark, number 1 in the Lotus, was the title holder and favourite. He would win 3 Grand Prix in the year. Graham Hill, number 5 in the BRM, won 2. So did Dan Gurney of the United States. But the 60s was an era when British drivers called the tune with 6 championship victories. Surtees, number 7, was driving for the foreigners. And not yet, the experts said, the complete driver. But his pace was too hot around the Nürburgring. With another victory in the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, second places in the British at Brands Hatch and in the United States, Surtees remained in contention to the season's end in Mexico City. He didn't win there, but it would still be his day.